All right, welcome to the latest installment of Filthy Kitchen Cooking with the Squadchman. Today we are going to pan fry another steak. Look at this delightful item. So, I've already taken the steak, left it out, brought it to room temperature. With some paper towel, I dried it off. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of salt. The pan is here. I got some olive oil in the pan, not the ideal oil. It's on medium heat, waiting for the smoke point. That's the point, self-explanatory, where the oil is warm enough that it actually starts to smoke. And at that point, we know that it is time to put the steak into the oil. So I'm just putting a little bit of pepper on the steak. I've put some salt on it. This is out of frame. I have a new setup with my camera. It's on a stand here now. Well, phone, I should say. And I'm just watching. It is not yet the smoke point. I'll turn the light on. Might be easier to see the smoke wafting. Put a little salt on this side. I got a criticism from a previous video about putting too much pepper on my steak. Well, the reality is most of the pepper is going to end up in the oil. And there's no accounting for taste, some wise person once said. I don't know who that quote is attributed to, but I'm sure many people from many different cultures have said it throughout the years. And the fact is, if it's too much pepper for you, may not be too much pepper for me. I don't taste a whole lot of pepper once the steak is cooked, and I believe that is because most of it is going to be used up in the oil. Now, if it's not peppery enough, once you have your steak cooked, of course, you can always add more pepper, if that's what you like, or you can add more salt, or you can leave it alone and enjoy as is. So, waiting for the smoke point, still has not arrived. I would like to adjust the camera so you could see what's going on the stove, but unfortunately this setup is very bouncy. Okay, I'm not on the high seas, it's just this new camera stand bounces around, so I'm going to try to avoid moving it. And while I'm waiting, I'm just going to clean a plate. I don't have a plate here, so excuse me if I step out of frame briefly. I'll come back so you can enjoy watching me scrub a dub doozy on the old plate. I fed the savages out on the patio. There were 5 of them this morning. I generally don't feed them if there's more than 2 or 3, but they were like starving beasts, jumping around right up at the patio door, looking at me. I should have filled them because they were quite aggressive, going after their seed, but gives me joy to feed the pigeons. Something I used to do with my daughter. So in her honor, I am going to continue to take care of my feathered amigos. My little feathery babies. Oh, well look, I don't know if you can see this, but the oil has in fact reached the smoke point. Here's the pan. See, the oil is smoking. So, time to, ooh, now it's sputtering. The reason it's sputtering is I had a little water on my hand from washing the dish, and when I showed you the pan, that's what happened. So, I'll take Old Man Steak, lay it down. I should have had a timer set, which I haven't, so I'm going to go and do that now. I'll be right back. So this is a good use for old cell phones. This is what I do with my old cell phones. I use the timer on them for cooking. So I'm going to cook this steak at approximately 2.5 minutes per side, as it is roughly 1 inch thick. But generally speaking, yeah, that's generally what I do. 2.5 minutes aside. If it's 1 inch. If it's less than 1 inch, I will go 2 minutes. And since this package of steaks has an additional steak, I'm going to cook that as well and eat it left over. Yes, freshly cooked steak is better, but being a single guy, no need to cook continually. Cooking for one is pretty inefficient, so I will cook for two, me and the me of tomorrow, and that way I just have to reheat with the microwave, and I'm fine with that. Is it as nice? No, but I'm basically eating more for fuel than I am for pure enjoyment. I say pure enjoyment because I will still enjoy that reheated steak very much. So basically I have 2 pieces of paper towel, one for the top, one for the bottom, and I'm just getting some of that moisture off the meat before I season with salt and pepper. Now, I can see by the timer that there is 8 seconds left, so I'm going to flip that over. I told you that I was timing for 2.5 minutes, but the timer is already set for 2 minutes, but it was already going for a while, so that's why. I don't see any tongs here. I'm usually more prepared than I am today, but for some reason I wanted to start filming. Now, the steak is it looks quite singed, but that's actually good. It's just inside the steak is perfect, and the caramelized outside is just adding flavor. Ooh, I'm getting a little sputtering from the oil, so that's fine. So this video is roughly 10 minutes long. I will cut it short around the 15-minute mark or a little sooner, and whether the steaks are cooked or not. Just so that it's not an overly long video. I will put some seasoning on this one now. One other point about cooking 2 steaks is, yes, the oil is already pretty oxidized by the time the first steak is cooked. Ideally, you would want to change the oil just like you want to change the oil in your car. It's actually the exact same process of changing the oil in your car. The The oil in your car gets cooked and oxidized and breaks down due to the heat. And as a result, it becomes less efficient, but it also becomes toxic. Toxic, not poisonous, slightly toxic. Not as good for you, but good enough. I'm not concerned. Alright, I got some salt, I got some pepper. The alarm just went off. However, as I explained, I'm doing this for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the timer is set to 2 minutes 5 seconds, so I still have time. So here's this beautiful piece of meat, slightly singed looking, but that's actually adding to the flavor profile. I'll take the second steak now, throw that aboard the spent oil. Not severely spent, so not a big deal. And as we all know, the next step, I'm going to put some butter on the steak. Now generally, I melt the butter in the pan and then pour it over the steak, but because I had another steak cooking on the pan, I'm just going to put a little butter on the steak as if I was buttering a piece of bread. This is not the ideal method, but again, not going for perfection so much as you're going for good. It's going to be great, but it's not going to be the best, but it will still be great. So I'm not going to sacrifice great for an attempt at perfection, which I'll probably miss the mark at anyway. So always looking for improvements, not perfection. As you can see, I got a little stubble going on, which will lead us into my later shaving video that is to come. Yesterday I didn't put up a video. It was a pretty rough day. I got some rest, so here we go. Excuse me. So once I get my tongs, we got about a minute left on this steak. I'm going to cut this video short. I'll flip the steak. I'll do my 2.5 minutes on the other side, and I'll catch you guys later. Any questions or comments down below? Until next time, who loves you, baby? This guy. Goodbye. Hope things are going well.